And we're live with a special report from the Auditory Osmosis Studios. This is the MMA UFC 200 fight recap with your host, Ether Hawkins and Mr. Nicholas Ritter.
Woo! UFC 200. It's pretty sweet, wasn't it, man?
It was excellent. Like I said, well, originally we thought we were going to get to see all the fights, right?
Right.
And
well, if I would have, if we would have had Fox Sports in the studio, we would have had all the fights. But
I still can't believe though they started like 7 o'clock. They're like, hey, you want to watch 2 hours of a countdown that you've seen?
Right.
But it got you hyped up.
It was kind of hypey. It got everybody ready, I guess. If we wouldn't have been using DraftKings, we wouldn't have known exactly when everything was going to start, and we would have been really angry.
Well, and we kind of had a noisy room, right? So we didn't do the pre-show. We didn't do the after show. The pre-show, we were too pumped. The after show, we were too tired.
We're in Studio 200 for that, remember?
Right?
Yeah, it wasn't really a studio, as you can see, because we didn't really broadcast or do anything from it, but we definitely had to celebrate. It was like it's the very top floor of the studio, so it's pretty cool.
So what was your favorite fight of the whole night, the whole show?
Man, that's a tough one. I guess I'm gonna say Brock Lesnar, of course. Brock Lesnar.
I'm gonna go with the Aldo fight.
Yeah, yeah. You, Mr. Aldo. We'll just say Jose Aldo. He's intense, isn't he?
Man, that guy was focused. It looked like Anderson Silva was there, but he seemed like an old man. I felt like the spirit of Anderson Silva was in Aldo. Because he was in total focus mode, and his hands constantly who was the other guy? Constantly Frankie
Edgar.
He continuously throwing combinations. I mean, the stamina involved to watch those guys go round after round. It was amazing. It was a real treat to watch.
Yeah, Aldo, man, he's awesome. He's such a good counter, and he was
so focused.
It was awesome to see him, just his head down, no eye contact at the beginning, just completely visualizing everything that he was about to do.
Every start of the round, he'd reach out for a little knuckle tap.
Yeah.
And then finally he got Edgar to tap knuckles towards the end.
Was it like the fourth round, I think? Like,
yeah.
Jeez, kicking my ass, man.
Right.
All right.
He's like, respect.
Yeah. Maybe that's his one way of seeing it, like he broke the person. Aldo's just a badass. We were talking about it during the fights. We're like, imagine accidentally picking a fight with him in a bar, like.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just it.
Just reamed over, dude. Just boom.
Well, and to be in Aldo's shoes, how would you handle some how tall was Frankie? Like 5'8"?
Oh, yeah, we'll say that's good. I don't remember.
Just this guy coming at you, swinging combinations. I couldn't handle that. Like, if I picked a fight with some random dude and he just came at me and he just started swinging with combinations, I have no training to be that focused and deflect all those blows and strikes coming in at lightning speed. And then you have Aldo, and he's just sitting cool, calm, collected. And when in mixed martial arts, and maybe it's in particular dojos or style of training where they do the wooden help me out here, where they
I think it's a Chinese thing.
Yeah, they fight the wooden coat hanger kind of looking thing.
It's a dummy, or basically it's blocking. It's a block. Well, it's for knowing where to strike and where to block every time.
Well, Aldo, he knew where to block every single time. Dude, he was brushing away. It was like wax on, wax off for that guy.
Right.
Yeah. That was my favorite fight.
That was pretty good. Travis Brown, Cain Velasquez. Honestly, I used to love Cain Velasquez, okay? But then he's been gone for so long, and then I've started to like Travis Brown a lot. But so I thought Travis Brown was gonna win this fight just because it was my second upset pick. The other one was in the prelims, and we'll probably won't get to those tonight. But dude, Cain Velasquez, man, I was kind of announcing and basically more or less just doing my own little Joe Rogan thing the whole time, like through the whole fights. But Cain Velasquez got him right where he wanted, man. He was got him on the fence and just started beating the shit out of him, basically. But
Right.
the kicks, the wheel kicks. First time we've ever seen a wheel kick out of Cain Velasquez ever.
Well, yeah, even the people familiar with the sport was like, "Oh, that's new."
Yeah, I called it, or I said it first, and then it was said on the TV. But anyway, I don't.
I mean, how much time do they have to prepare and like reevaluate their move set? Do they get like a few months, a few weeks?
Well, I mean, again, he's been gone for so long that he's probably still been training and through all his, I believe it was neck or back surgery. Surgeries. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Because him and Brock Lesnar
Lesnar
they
looked
were
like
coming out with entirely new, like Brock Lesnar, what he was switching styles on Mark
he
Hunt.
was switching stances. It was crazy just to see. It looked like he'd been training back for MMA for like 5 years since he'd been gone. It just looks like he never stopped training.
And more people are pointing out that he's a novice. He's wet behind the ears. He's really new to mixed martial arts, but
Right.
his potential, it's so explosive.
it's crazy.
And it's inhuman potential.
He looks like a gargoyle without wings.
Right. And we were saying that, I mean, before we really get into that fight, because it was the highlight.
Yeah,
obviously.
for sure.
It was the seller. Brock Lesnar, he scares me. Like, he frightens me.
As he should.
Like, when I was watching the fight, I thought he was almost like a silverback gorilla. I mean, remember when a baby was dropped into the zoo pit and they had to shoot the gorilla?
Yeah.
I feel as if for some reason a baby crawled into the octagon. They wouldn't take any chances. They'd have to put Brock Lesnar down. I mean, that's how dangerous
They probably
this guy
would.
looks.
They probably
He's
would.
just a monster. And now he's learning how to fight, like technical fighting. That's frightening. If you want to see a real life Viking, I think I was saying like during the fight, like imagine if Brock Lesnar wasn't fighting. He would be in like some small town community farming and he'd charge tourists to watch him lift cows with one arm over his head. And then he'd be in the local parade as Hercules for all the kids. Maybe Hulk. The guy is just a marvel of human architecture.
Yeah, for sure. He's just massive. But we won't talk about that fight yet. You know what I mean?
Then you had Silva. What was it? 48-hour notice?
I think he had 40. Yeah, he had like 2 days notice. Pretty crazy.
The crowd was booing when they were spending some time on the mat. I don't know. I mean, did you feel as if they had mutual respect and they didn't want to really get into a slobber knocker, if you will? And then in the end, Silva started to throw some kicks and go at it. But it felt like that was just to fill in the rest of what we were missing throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah. It was honestly, I think it was a tribute to Cormier. Why can't I think of his
one
name?
of those kicks, man, hit Cormier right in the rib.
Yeah,
that looked like it hurt.
He said he actually felt a shock through his whole body when he got that. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, Dana White found him a fight in 48 hours. With 48-hour notice. That's pretty good.
I just felt bad for Silva because he looked unconditioned out there.
Unconditioned, he wasn't ready, of course, but hey, they both got UFC 200 money still.
That's true. That's true.
It wasn't
And
headline, but
I couldn't help but notice that UFC has been slowly. WWE is leaking in. And it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. But as somebody not familiar with the background of UFC and its tradition, when I watch modern events like UFC 200, I cannot help but notice the influence of sports entertainment and how you hear about Dana White saying he might sell it. I feel like it's in this transition period where we're going to see it become more and more of a football, highly full of celebrities, full of sponsors,
highly touted.
Yes,
sport.
exactly.
So, well, we kind of talked about this, and we even got so deep is because apparently the people that are buying it, of course, are part of WWE, and see, there could be two outcomes. Well, I guess there's probably a lot more, but listen to these two. So the first one would be what the UFC gets a WWE storyline, but the fights are real now, and it's like these UFC fighters have to put on a show and fight while putting on a show.
Their personalities.
Or is it going to be like the WWE is a feeder system for real fighters now, right? So
exactly,
you get these guys that are are going to be even better in real fighting. So you tell them, hey, come to the UFC, get them trained or whatever, and so it's a complete feeder system, and you cherry pick these badasses.
It's like they're co-oping each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I kind of see it. You have to have an astonishing amount of stamina and ability to be even in the WWE, to be honest.
I just don't want to see like when boxing became really successful commercially, they started to throw fights and pay refs and all this other nonsense.
Right.
Obviously, I didn't grow up to see that highly corrupt period, and maybe boxing still is full of corruption, but it seems to me like UFC, like for instance, going back to the Silva fight, you could have thrown that fight.
Yeah.
With how much time spent on the mat, it seems like UFC is something where you can take, like WWE, you can play off of people's nostalgia and give them Anderson Silva versus a younger dude, and you get the crowd to come in and watch because Silva's in the ring, but they're going to throw the fight because Silva is an old man.
Well, no, he's still trying to fight, man. He's literally, but Daniel Cormier is a Olympic medalist in wrestling. He's such a badass. He looks like a brick shit house. He does. He's thick. He doesn't even look like he should be a fighter.
Right.
He doesn't. I should say that he doesn't look like he would be a fighter or would be in the octagon.
Well, I'm watching Silva on the ground trying to, wiggle his way into a hold. He couldn't because he was so big.
He actually did a good job of on the ground. When you're on your back like that, you want to get the least amount of distance between you and that person. And he did a great job by holding that one leg so Cormier couldn't get into side control. It was like the whole time he held that leg. And the fact is like when you hold that leg and you kind of push up on that leg, it gets your hip out of position. So when that hip is out of position, you can't put the correct leverage, or you really can't. You're constantly trying to readjust. You know what I mean? Because your hips are basically the biggest thing when you're on the top.
Well, and considering the future of the sport and the future of the entertainment, do you think we could see a spin-off like Dancing? I think I mentioned this last night. Dancing with the Stars. Do you think UFC legends who have retired can train celebrities that want to go into the ring for a one-time fight versus a different celebrity and have celebrity MMA?
This is what we should do. We should start.
Would you have celebrities that would actually want to hit each other though?
Oh, absolutely. You have beefs, and you just have people that want to go on TV to make money too, still, because they're still actors.
And do you think eventually UFC can run the debate platforms for politics, and we can just have Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump in the octagon,
fight it out,
and the winner gets to become the the chief and commander?
You mean Obama for at least 2 more years while they train?
Well, only like 48 hours. They win a contract to stay in the White House, but then Obama just goes right back in. He's dictator for life, but whoever wins the octagon fight every 4 years gets to stay in the bed and breakfast.
This sounds like Russia. Sounds like Russia would be or something.
Well, it would be a fascist merger of the corporate UFC and the public democracy we have. So it would just be totalitarianism, but based around fighting in the octagon.
Okay. This is what we're going to do. That's exactly it. We just said it. It's our shit. Don't anybody try to do it because we copyrighted it right now.
I think Brock Lesnar's next task is to become Donald Trump's VP. And during the debate, he just walks out,
ripping people in half.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking crap. No more protests.
Yeah, he just takes mics and he crushes them with his hands. And then if the other guy doesn't leave the stage, then it gets physical. But usually he wins just by, default. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, Mark Hunt. I mean, you got this Samoan bulldozer who had to cut weight just to meet Brock Lesnar's weight class.
No, it's the weight class it's the heavyweight class. You have to be in a certain amount of weight.
Well, he had to cut weight, and to think of that, he's shorter, and Lesnar had almost a whole foot on him for his reach.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't get who I understand that Mark Hunt's I'll fight anyone, anywhere. But when he got into that ring,
the crazy thing is, I was saying this out loud and we already said something about it, but you see Brock, they kind of, they were looking at each other for a while, just trying to get a feel for each other, right? Well, you see Brock start changing stances. He goes from southpaw to orthodox, right? Regular, just he's always trying to make Hunt think of what he's going to do next. Which
right?
Because we all know his big thing is wrestling. So how's he going to shoot at you? Which foot's going to have to be forward for him to get the best shot? And dude, it was crazy. And how many takedowns did he have?
Well, Lesnar's stature alone is enough to mess with your mind, but watching that man just jump back and forth, and didn't we see Mark Hunt throw a jab and hurt his hand?
I don't know. Actually, I saw after the recap, because in that third round, Hunt got a couple of good shots on Lesnar. Remember?
Yeah,
because his eye was pretty swollen in the interview.
It's just, I don't know. When I watched, Lesnar dominated Mark Hunt,
of course. Yeah,
and just by the second round, I was like, Mark, what have you gotten yourself into? You should just leave right now before he kills you. And he's back him up into the fence and immediately pick him up and slam him to the mat.
Well, he's saying, I'm not quite sure what I got myself into. Oh, sorry, that was British. Sorry, that was terrible. That was a terrible Mark Hunt.
No, that's exactly, though. He wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, it was, well, he was. That's what Brock Lesnar did to Frank Mir a while back. But it's just so hard to defend against two trees for arms, and then those, you've seen the huge legs that Mark Hunt has.
Right.
And then what's his name? Our buddy that was with us, we won't say names actually. Our buddy that was with us was saying, "Oh, Brock Lesnar has chicken legs." And then he starts walking, they start showing the video of him present day, ready for the fight. What chicken legs, brother?
Right.
Crazy.
No, He was Hulkamania in real life form, and he ran straight through the octagon.
No, it was. I would have loved to be there to feel like the vibrations and the power in those takedowns. Some of those takedowns just took, because he's literally, when he picks him up, he's driving his shoulder into the lungs, into the ribs. So not
Well,
only
that's what's so scary. When Brock Lesnar lunges at you, it's like a raging bull.
dude, it's crazy. He's huge. What a huge man.
I mean, we were joking last night, but do you think people are going to think twice before accepting a fight with him?
No.
I mean, who's going to challenge him? Who in the UFC off the top of your head can give him a run for his money?
Anybody will
This
fight
is the
him.
thing. He's
Anybody
a
will fight him.
novice. This shouldn't occur. That's why he's such a unique specimen. This guy doesn't have a life background, like a whole life's worth of fighting.
Right.
So, I mean, the longer he's in this, the better he's going to get. I mean, yeah, he'll get older and maybe he'll get more intestinal problems. But the way it's going right now, he's going to get better with time. And he's a workaholic. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to be a main contender in the world of sports entertainment over in the wrestling world.
True.
And then he's throwing guys like Mark Hunt down onto a UFC 200 mat. I mean, he's like a Superman. He's like a physical Ubermensch.
It's true. He's huge, just just beastly.
And you know we shouldn't leave out the big fight of the night.
Misha Tate, Amanda
Right.
Nunes? Yeah.
Right. Misha Tate. I didn't know anything about the women's division. It's fairly new, right?
Not anymore.
Well, all I know is when she came out, Misha Tate, and she had that Katy Perry song. And then she just had her nose busted. I was like, well, she's not going to be roaring anytime tonight.
Mm-hmm.
She may be crying, but wow. Speaking about intensity, what was that? What was her name again? The other
Amanda Nunes.
She had the intensity, the same type of intensity Aldo had.
Dude, she was very focused. They're both Brazilian too, so
man, that kind of just
determination.
Yeah, determination, and it's like their mind is a super sharp katana, and they're just ready to cut whatever they look at. That's the type of focus I saw. Razor blade focus, super sharp.
It was pretty good, pretty good. So, Stipe Miocic, his bloodline is Croatian, but he's from like Ohio, I think, or something like that. He doesn't even get specific training for anything. He trains at the same gym over and over. But again, he's the heavyweight champion. Okay. I bet you Josh Barnett would fight him. I'm not sure if he still fights, but how about Cain Velasquez again?
Well, here's the thing. Does Lesnar even want a title, or is he just going to be a prize fighter and come back for certain cards?
No, he's no longer a prize fighter. He's trying to challenge himself. He's trying to
so he's going after the title, you think?
Yeah, he wants to be the champion again. I mean, that's basically the key, right?
Right. Did some other WWE guys didn't what's his name?
CM Punk.
But somebody before him, Batista.
Batista, actually, he's never been in the UFC.
Okay.
He's been MMA fighting for a while though. In the I don't know what you would call it, the lower mixed martial arts tournaments.
So he's more of like an enthusiast. He's not.
No,
going
he's.
for broke.
I think he just He's trying to start. He just started different. He's
All
not
right.
the biggest. I mean, who knows? He might be in UFC soon. He's just so bulky and so I don't know.
Those
He's
crossovers.
yeah, but I don't know. How
But yeah, it
much
was an
Miracle?
excellent card. And I think when's the next event?
Um, there's one this weekend, I believe. I'm not sure. Fight night, UFC Fight Night, Wednesday, July 13th. Um, the headline is Lineker McDonald. That'll be a good fight. Again, it's uh it's lighter guys. I think they're middleweights. Find out, and then we'll go with the big ones. Well, I guess the headliner after that's going to be good. We get to see Holly Holm fight again as the headliner. But UFC 200 201 is going to be awesome. That's July 30th, so we still have another big pay-per-view this month.
Sweet.
And that's dude, that's going to be a great fight. Robbie Lawler versus Tyron Woodley. Oh, dude, Robbie Lawler's a badass. I really like Robbie Lawler, and that's a pretty good card too.
So how much was that? Like $40 for 200?
Through Comcast, it was $49.99 or something like that,
All right.
plus whatever stupid taxes. Probably not too much.
So you get a few people together like we did, you know, somebody gets pizza, somebody gets the show, somebody gets the beer. It's
Right.
you know, it's not too bad.
No, it's pretty easy. I mean, and you didn't even drink because you just didn't want to drink. You know.
Right. And doesn't mix well with
With medicine.
the Lyme disease.
You're not the one with the Lyme disease. Remember, it was some caller or emailer.
Right. Sometimes the split personalities, they merge.
They
and
do.
there's a singularity, and I remember who I really am. No, but it was a great night, and you know, we had fireworks going on across the street at some fair, so
Yeah,
it just felt like a celebration.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, too bad we didn't get to see John Jones fight Cormier. That was
The early fights. How many fights did we actually miss?
I think like 13 that night.
Okay, so all right. Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not 13. We'll say, well, maybe they had early prelims and prelims. TJ Dillonshaw, he won. I'm so happy he did. And he's damn good. Trained under Bam Ludwig. He's a badass. I just can't wait for 2002 or UFC 202.
Man, 2002 is
just
long
because
gone.
It's the next WWE guy fighting.
Really?
Yep, CM Punk.
So
And
wait, that's going to be his first fight?
Yep, his first fight.
I think he's athletic. What did he start in the ECW or something?
Actually, you're probably right.
And before that, I think he ran in the Japanese circuits and stuff.
Probably. And
So,
for wrestling?
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
He looks like a guy who maybe studies mixed martial arts and now he's actually trying his hand at it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely. That's what's going on. And he's been training probably at least 2 years for this. At least 2 years.
Wow.
So, training 2 years, getting all his shit down, just we already know that he is probably pretty good at a lot of things. So, he just has instead this time he's actually punching the person. He's fighting Mickey Gall, by the way. Mickey Gall was one of the people in.
What's the weight class?
185. So that's probably light heavy.
Okay.
I think that's right, light heavy.
Yeah, and just to clarify for the listeners, this is not episode 16.
No,
this is just a recap.
Just a recap. Talking, we can even just talk about whatever, but mostly MMA stuff tonight.
Right.
Just it's fun for me.
Well, and we were originally going to do.
We're gonna do.
We were going to do, but this makes up for that.
A precast and a postcast.
Right.
But it was a little difficult in the UFC 200 studio because again, like I said, it wasn't really a studio. It just has a big ass TV with really good stereo sound and lots of munchies.
And some people don't feel comfortable being on air while they're just talking with their friends.
Right, and they don't want to be on air anyway. So.
Yeah, what are some of the most intense training methods you've ever seen? I remember this one guy, I don't know if they still do this, but a few years ago on YouTube, I was like, mixed martial arts training. And I guess a few fighters like to go into sweat lodges, or their gym will be in a sweat lodge, like a sauna situation. Yeah. And they'll drain their body. They'll dehydrate while they are working out, and then they'll rehydrate. And not only is it to drop weight, but it's something about it trains your stamina.
Well, okay, so most of the time, the guys that you're seeing have to do exactly that before the fight.
Wow.
And now UFC has made it to where you can't get IVs. So when they do that weight cut, they have to they basically lose they gain 15 pounds overnight. Basically, really? is what happens sometimes. Okay, so they get down to this weird weight, this crazy weight. They dehydrate themselves so much. You can see it in the weigh-in with Conor McGregor before he was at this weight class. I think it was with Jose Aldo. You can see how dehydrated he was. But so what they would do is they'd cut the weight, they'd go to weigh-ins, and then they'd get the IVs, so it immediately inject that liquid and that all that goodness back into them. They do B vitamins. They do all sorts of, just saline and all the stuff that a doctor would do, plus, their supplements. Well, legal supplements, but
they used to have doping, right? They just
well, yeah, there has been doping, of course, and
they didn't regulate it.
They did, but it was before USADA, the United States Anti-Doping Association came into the picture. It was a little easier to get away with everything because all they would do is just how every other every other sport does. We'll say Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong. Okay, so all he was doing is keeping up with the science, basically, and his doctors or his people would basically be 5 steps ahead. So they wouldn't even know that this thing would increase something in your body to make testosterone buildup increase or testosterone production increase, and all this stuff that it's crazy what these drugs can do that they don't even know what they are yet.
Would you be in favor of seeing a doping league and an anti-doping league?
Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy to see all right, well, this is the doping league, so just do all the shit you want. Just don't die in the ring.
Right. And if you do, well, you signed
you signed a waiver.
Exactly.
Right now. Oh, sorry, you just signed it. When you signed in.
I'm just surprised they haven't made sports like that, because you think with the contract they could get around the legality and just be like, look, he signed a waiver. This is his life.
Yeah. It probably could happen.
But then again, they don't want to be like, you're setting an example for the children.
Right. But they already know what they're on. So if it's a side effect of the drug they're on, then it's the doping league, dude.
Yeah, they should do intense investigation reports. Be like, this guy's on this, along with his weight, height, reach, and age. It lists the drugs he's doing versus the competitor.
HGH forever, and
yeah, they're That would be something else.
Well, like the thing is like some people actually need TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy. And just because the guys are getting old, they stop producing testosterone and they can't, they start losing everything. So
Speaking about that, what's the average age for getting out of the fighting business?
I think it's raising, but depending on what weight class you're talking about, because the heavy,
45?
the heavyweights, they they're all big dudes, so the last thing to go is your power. I think the first thing they say is your speed or your stamina, one of the two probably.
Right.
So you have to be a heavyweight to be old for the most part.
Because it seems like
And
late 20s through the 30s is the prime.
yeah, it's definitely where it's at, where the prime is at for most like light heavyweights and down. Well, the truth is like honestly, this is science, okay? But the bigger you are, the more gravity affects you, correct?
Right.
And people don't understand it, but you have to think about this. This is, if I'm 6'3", even if I'm skinny and I'm 6'3", the higher I am, the more gravity actually affects me. So
You don't have to tell me.
I know, but for them, so you're 6'3" Brock Lesnar, and you already weigh 285 or 265 or whatever it is. How much? Most of the time you'd think that it, they can go forever because he's a beast, but everything affects him more. So
Well, it's like
again,
those, the linemen in football. They start out as hefty kids, and then they get into junior high, and they're the size of a high school student. And
right,
then by the time they get into the NFL, they are going against other behemoths. But yeah, those guys, their bones and muscles grow differently because, like you're saying, they have to always accommodate for that gravity weighing down what they're already putting up with.
exactly, and they're gaining more mass, so the gravity affects them more like every day, just like everybody. You know what I mean?
Right. Can you imagine like
Isn't it weird to
Andre
think
the
about that?
Giant if he was fighting?
Well, like that's why his knees went first. His weight was at
Right.
like his belly and up. He was just break.
It is weird though.
Yeah,
Just the science behind it.
yeah, isn't it nuts? But that the big boys, dude. Heavyweight. Okay, so heavyweight will be usually the oldest people because again, the size and the strength is the last thing to go. You can throw your meat hooks at somebody, and sometimes most of the time you'll if you hit, it's gonna it's gonna hurt.
I mean, how do these guys bulk up? You always hear about just calorie intake and working out.
It's
But you got to balance that with, stamina and cardio and everything if you're going to be an efficient fighting machine.
okay. So a lot of the times when you hear sparring, like the new age, what you do is you don't spar much. Okay, so when you and then you start go to you when you're preparing to go to a camp, you do your you can well I shouldn't. This is what I feel. You do like you're beefing up. The more weight you lift, the bigger you'll get, right?
Right.
So they'll do what I feel is, and some people do this. Like I think John Jones actually does this, or used to do this. But you'd lift weights. Well, I shouldn't say that because he didn't like lifting weights. But anyway, we'll start over. You would lift weights and you'd bulk up, right? And you get as big as you can, preparing for training camp, and then going into training and sorry, while preparing for training camp, you would do some sparring. You would do all sort, just different stuff. But then when you go to training camp, usually you want to quit sparring and you want to do things that like drop your weight or condition you exactly for what you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And then you get in your whole training your senses.
that's well that okay. So most of the time when it comes to any martial art, a lot of those people are already doing things that train senses and train their bodies to, like, you know, the perfect form of a human, you know, the perfect specimen.
Right.
That's what they're trying to do, whether it's hot yoga or cryogenic therapy or sauna therapy, or because like even cryogenic therapy has its benefits, and a lot of people don't know this, but like it releases what they call phytokines, and so basically that feeling of like when you freeze, when you're like super fucking cold, and then you walk into your house, and then you feel like
Get that burning.
you get the burning, and like your whole body's just like, oh my god, we are alive, you know, like
Right.
screaming. That's your phytokines activating, and those things actually, like, they help you so much. They I don't really want to get into all of it, but that's what happens when that's one of the things that happens, the most beneficial thing that happens when you do like a cryotherapy. And then heat therapy also releases other types of endorphins and things like that when you just get super hot. I mean, it's all part of training and breathing exercises, and
The elements.
and some people even do mental therapy or fight therapy. Actually, it's not hallucinogenics. It's what do you call it when you're getting sleepy? What's the word? What is it, Mr.
Well,
Hawkins? When you're like you're getting the psychiatrist puts you under a trance.
Hypnosis.
Hypnosis, yeah. A lot of fighters are doing hypnosis.
You're getting tired?
You're getting sleepy. No, so yeah, that's another way of. It's crazy how much UFC has evolved, how much MMA has evolved.
Well, I suppose they're fighting other dudes who are going to push themselves to the limit, so they have to push themselves, and that's what competition breeds. The end result is a purified, perfected product.
Right. It's fucking beautiful.
The wonders of capitalism.
Well, not necessarily. Again,
applied to the human body.
Okay, we'll say that. So
yeah, I mean, you just have extreme competition, so you want to be the better product.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny that we don't have. I mean, I'm sure parents can barely tolerate kids playing football, but I wish they had like high school mixed martial arts of some sort. I know they still do like Greco-Roman, but I wish there was, I guess, fight clubs locally that weren't so expensive and so inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard to train a lot of people. It's hard to, you know what I mean? It's hard to.
Right. Well, I just want to watch. I want to be a spectator.
I think you could probably, again, like I told you, our closest place is Warriors Cove. But I don't know if I'd start there. It's a little more serious at points. It's a Gracie gym, it's a jiu-jitsu. So that's basically, they have they actually have one of the best intros into jiu-jitsu that I felt, because what they do is it's less you don't have to spar, you don't have to fight all the time. What they do is they introduce you to the sport, and they introduce you to different. They don't make you fight. They don't make you like test against other people all the time, and like
I think if I had to do something like that, I wouldn't join a dojo, or do they call them dojos across the board when it comes to any type of training center?
No, dojo. I think dojo is Japanese just for the place that they practice. So I don't know.
Well, I would just design my own course based around. But like you said, you do need that experience with a learned master, an ascended master of the arts. But I think I would design my own courses for the most part. and then maybe twice a week, unless I was really serious, and then maybe twice a week I would test my skills against a learned master.
Right.
So
Well,
they wouldn't be hands-on, but they'd be
honestly,
guiding.
the only way to learn jujitsu is to roll, is to do it.
Really.
But because
I think Tai Chi is very.
that's a whole different. That's not even a martial art.
It isn't, but it's just so serene.
Yeah, but try some yoga and then try some jujitsu later that day. I mean, dude, it's amazing. It's amazing what it does for you. I mean, it humbles you. It shows you that you can keep going. It shows you that determination, and like you can start to control your body and understand what's going. It's crazy, man. It's such a good sport. It's such a good.
I think I'm going to get into the art of the 8 limbs.
Muay Thai.
Yes. I mean, after you told me that, I was like, okay, I got to get in, because I was like, I only 8 limbs. What? I only got 4. And you're like, no, idiot. Your knees, your elbows. And I was like, that's genius.
Yeah. I mean,
Man.
That's Muay Thai. I mean, if you look at some of the fights, some of the Thai fights, and these guys going at it, dude, it's unbelievable.
No, I've watched. Yeah. I mean, after you like brought that up, I was like, yeah, this is such a great fighting style.
Yeah, it's beautiful, dude. It was my favorite. It was beginning to striking for me.
Well, and like the elbow itself, when it's utilized appropriately,
it's the sharpest bone on your body.
Yeah, it's so damaging.
Yeah, it can cut. Cuts are the worst because not only do they fuck you up, but a lot of the times you show the person that damages you that you know it fucked you up, and it's crazy because the cuts are fucked. Most people see, a lot of people see their own blood, and it really gets them.
Well, you get that swelling too with the cut, so the actual wound will open up even more because it's swollen.
Yeah, and most of the time it's on the face.
Yeah, that stuff is. Yeah, I mean, looking at Misha Tate's nose, I was like, oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, and I think, what was it, a knee that did that, I think. Dude, it was smashed. It was so smashed that it would, dude, I don't even know what to compare it to. Like, it was like her tip of her nose was regular color, and like where it connects to the eyebrows was kind of regular color, but it was complete like what's the word, or the whiteout that you put on the piece of paper. It looked like whiteout was on her face. It was just man, it was bad. In one of the interviews, I saw
that flattened bridge too, so you knew it was broken.
Yeah, in the interviews after, she had a towel over her face, and she wouldn't take the towel off.
Oh, I'm sure it was disgusting.
It was probably bad. Man, Misha Tate, though, she
not camera friendly.
She can be very camera friendly, but
just after the nose, I meant.
Oh yeah, for sure. She wasn't ready. She took some chances, I guess you can say. But she wasn't ready for Amanda Nunes. She was
like a Barbie doll in the ring compared to the other chick.
Yeah, I feel like it's even harder for the ladies to get into the mindset of fighting. They don't. They take, women take things. I shouldn't even go into it, but it's just different between the women dynamic, between the man dynamic, you know.
Right.
And then, so.
Well, it's just the properties of the chemicals. I mean, testosterone.
Right. Yeah, it's true. But I don't know. It's just a whole different ball game But either way, great fights. It was a good time. We ordered Domino's, one of the unofficial sponsors for the evening.
Fantastic combination of flavor.
We had a good time with the pizza flavors last night. just to do
What
it.
was it, like a fiery Hawaiian?
Well, that's one of
And
their specialty pizzas. It was really good. That's why I kind of recommended it. I used to get that a lot.
then like a banana pepper sausage mushroom, was it?
Yeah. So we had the umami with the really like meaty flavors, and then we had the sweet and spicy kind of. Yeah, it was really good.
Then you cannot forget the cherry pie.
Sweet cherry pie. Yeah, dude, it was so
Delicious.
good. So good. I was about to get one of those pieces of pie too, but by the way, I'm eating the last piece. So,
Man.
yep.
Overall, just a fantastic event, fantastic food, good company. I had a good time. Thank you for hosting such an
Yeah.
event.
It was a good place. Good time,
And
good fun.
thanks to all the other folks who showed up, and
Yeah, they all had a good time. They all did.
good.
So, and then we ended up playing some video games after. That was fun.
Right. No, that was pretty funny. We're just like, oh, you got a Wii there, huh? You want to play some golf? And then it just kind of evolved into what, Super Smash, and then
Super Smash Brothers, and then finished.
finally had to crash out.
I just had to go to sleep, so I was like, yeah, let's watch a movie.
And the Super Smash was funny because you guys were like, we don't know how to play this. I was like, all right, 3 versus 1.
And then I started getting like the
hang of it.
No, not the hang of it. Like I started figuring out the buttons that I could just hit over and over, and
Oh, you started spamming.
yeah, spamming, I guess would be the word, or just button mashing, but the same button over and over.
But you had teammates, so when I'd run into you button mashing, I'd run into like a kick or something.
Exactly.
And then other people would be chasing me. I'm like, I should have done this.
Well, what's the Wally? Not Wally. Back in the day, what's that robot? Robbie?
Yeah,
Rob?
yep.
I just learned how to fly with him, and that was cool because I could like stay out of the action until like something happened, then I drop down and like hit you.
Yeah, it's good fun with a few people playing and whatnot.
It was a good time.
But yeah, what do you think? Episode 16, probably a few days here or something, maybe tomorrow, whenever we get around to it.
Tomorrow or the next day, I think tomorrow would actually be pretty good. I'll be out of work. I'll be out of work fairly soon.
We should have some stuff to talk about. I mean, I've cooled off. I kind of stopped watching after that intense episode 15. I kind of cooled it on the news. You know what I mean?
I had to, well, because it's still coming. It's all coming from
it's still going. And I'm glad we hit all that in one episode because now that's relevant until some other terrible thing happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, so, here's the thing. Do you think this holds up when every time some government bullshit happens, some crazy shooting or something like that in the news happens? Why is that?
What do you mean, the reaction, or why does the event itself happen?
Why does the event itself happen every time something fucked up in the government happens?
Well, I think events happen, but they always kind of catapult things to the headlines. And if something big in the government's going on, they like to once again do the magician trick. Even if the headline's not that big of a deal, they still like to focus in on it. I mean, I forget what was going on when the whole Bruce Jenner thing happened, but there was something in the government going on when the media blew up with, is it a man? Is it a woman? It's a trans woman. And it was just a magician trick. Right. I mean, that's what they love to do. Like, even if the story is of minor human interest, they catapult it up to the headlines, and then it covers up with it's a magician trick.
Misdirection.
Right.
At its finest.
And like I said, man, we have the conventions coming up, and the police attitudes are going to be totally different.
Yeah.
Because of all this fear.
Dallas.
The culture of fear at this point.
The fear culture, yep.
And
that's what I was trying to come up with earlier.
I'm just going to point this out for other people to follow. On the 16th, there's going to be a giant gathering in the National Mall right under the Washington Monument. at the reflecting pool, where Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream.
Forrest Gump.
There's going to be 1 million Christians there. And the news hasn't said anything about this. But if anything bad happens there, that's going to be 2 days before the convention. And the news is going to go crazy. The politicians are going to play off of all the string of events that have occurred. And the whole Hillary Clinton email thing is going to go underneath the rug.
No. She still needs to go to jail.
She at least needs to get probation.
Fuck probation. She needs all her security clearance taken away, and she needs to get metaphorically fucked.
Well, realistically, at this point, I just want them to have on record that she was criminalized and prosecuted.
Yeah, but then she couldn't necessarily be where she is.
Right. It's just they need to slap her with like a probation. It needs to be in the records that she committed a crime. But instead, we don't even have that. So her legacy, so to speak, will not be tampered or hindered, I suppose.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we'll be back again.
We'll be back very shortly, very soon. But everybody, we're gonna end this night with a nice little shot of Jameson.
Oh, and not to give the listeners too much excitement, but we found out we can screen grab some news headlines. So if we figure this out and we get it working properly, we should be able to give you the actual news articles to look at while we talk about them.
And video coming soon.
With auditory osmosis.
Coming soon. Video. We're going to have video of auditory osmosis in the auditory osmosis studios.
It's going to be great. A little bit of sketch comedy.
Yeah, it'll be great. We're going to get some video algorithms, if you will, programs. It'll be fun. We'll be able to show you guys some real fun stuff, man. All right, bud. I think it's time to go to bed. I need some sleep.
Right, I'm with you on that. I didn't get much sleep last night. I drove home and had to take care of some shit. Got some fishing in, and I'm pretty tired myself. So,
right on, man. All right, bud. Have a good night. Thanks everybody for listening.
We'll talk to y'all very soon.
Be good.